I like starting each pod with human slash.
A human
I guess
touch?
they're more animal sounds than human sounds. That's right. Dennis,
Mm-hmm.
too soon to have you recall your trauma, or a brief segment of said trauma.
Yeah, just a real shithole time on the way back from the mountain weekend. Took a back road in heavy snow, which was not fun to drive down a mountain in. Past like many a wrecked car.
Yeah, any close to like mountain edge?
Yeah, we kind of slid out at one point, going around a turn. No contact with any walls or anything. Got out of that though. Just very, very traumatizing.
Well, I'm glad you're here in one piece and seemingly in decent spirits.
Yes, thank fuck it's over. It's not type 2 fun yet, but maybe in a couple months.
You can thank Jesus Christ for you escaping.
Shout out Subaru.
What is the super mode called? Track?
X-Track or something.
X-Track mode.
X mode. X Games mode.
You gotta get a tattoo that says X-Track saved my life.
Probably won't do that.
Too soon. Or never. Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of your favorite movie podcast. It's been a little while since we've done kind of a little bit of a introduction. We probably have some new listeners over the year, the EPs. This is a movie podcast where we just kind of dick around and act like we're smart and we know movies when we don't. Zach does.
Thank you.
Jury's still out on the rest of us. But yeah, not to be taken too seriously. If you're new, thanks for joining us. You joined for a good one this week. But before we reveal what that was, we're going to do our little spiel. Well, I'm Matt.
I'm Dennis.
I'm Zach.
And this is the Letterboxd. Oh, God. Welcome to... So this is actually on brand. First time. I do this every time. So for some reason, I can't say the name of my own podcast. This is the Letterboxd, the movie podcast by cat dads with shitty movie takes.
Yep.
And that's the part where Dennis is supposed to ad-lib something funny, but...
Tank's empty tonight.
You could have done it in Boston. You could have done it in Cocksucker.
Oh, let's go, fucking cocksucker.
All right,
There we go.
We'll arrange that. All right, so we watched Dennis's pick. Dennis, your pick was
2006 thriller, police, crime, drama extraordinaire, The Departed, starring young Leonardo DiCaprio, youngish Matt Damon, youngish Mark Wahlberg, and a handful of other people I recognize but I don't recall their name of. Alec Baldwin was in there.
and an ancient Jack Nicholson.
Oh, yeah. How did I miss the almost the most forefront character?
Yeah. So this was the first time I've ever seen this movie. I'm excited to talk about it. You guys have both seen it, correct?
Many times.
One time.
Long ago?
Yeah, long ago in a galaxy far away.
Excellent. All right, so here's the rundown. The rundown is the synopsis. The synopsis is...
A summary.
To take down... I wish I had my glasses. To take down South Boston's Irish Mafia, the police send in one of their own to infiltrate the underworld, not realizing the syndicate has done likewise. While an undercover cop curries favor with the mob kingpin, a career criminal rises to the police ranks, but both sides soon discover there's a mole among them.
Yep.
That's on point. No deception there. As Dennis said, released in 2006. 2006. The War of
Quite a year.
1812 was just wrapping up.
Yep. It was in its final stages. Movies of the time that came out were, of course, The Departed, The Prestige from Nolan, our fan favorite.
Ooh.
Little Miss Sunshine, which I've never seen, and The Pursuit of Happiness, which I've also not seen, but
Ooh, good movie.
misspells happiness in the title. Steve Irwin died. R.I.P. Everybody's
Wow, that
favorite
was in 2006.
Australian. Yeah, felt like I was much more an adult when that happened.
So Stingrays were having a great year.
Or the worst year of their life.
Well, they won nothing against Steve Irwin.
Yeah, true. And we finally mapped the human genome in its entirety. Shout out science, right, Zach?
You got that right.
hmm And Smack That and Life is a Highway were some top songs.
Oh, shit.
So bring your mind all the way back to 2006.
Is this the first? I'd be interested to know if 2023 is the first year that we got a Nolan movie and a Scorsese movie in the same year.
I'm sure it's happened a lot because Scorsese's made a lot of movies between The
Just by
Departed
happenstance.
and now. Yeah.
All right. Well, fuck it.
Sorry.
And then, as we said, directed by Martin Scorsese. I don't need to give you his filmography because you know it. Starring Jack Nicholson as Frank Costello, the mob boss, the Irish mob boss. I guess, I don't know if loosely is the right word here or if loosely applies here, but he's based on Whitey Bulger.
Never heard of that guy.
Famous Boston mobster, played by Johnny Depp in another movie later on that I'm forgetting the name of. You know what I'm talking about? I'll figure it out. Leo DiCaprio's in this one as well, playing Billy Costigan, who is the cop infiltrating the mob. Matt Damon is playing Colin Sullivan, who is the mob infiltrating the cops. And Mark Wahlberg is probably the most, or the last notable one here, playing Sean Dignam, who is a hard-ass, no-filter
Slur
sergeant?
slinging. He kind of runs the undercover police investigative unit that sends Leonardo undercover to infiltrate Jack Nicholson.
Yep. And he plays a staff sergeant, so he's the number two, I guess, behind what's his name? Martin Sheen's character.
And
Captain Queenan.
And don't undersell Vera Farmiga, who does an amazing job in this film.
Vera Farmiga plays Madeline, who is a psychiatrist that is frequented by cops who have used their gun.
In the line of duty.
Anyone else notable? Alec Baldwin, like you said, I suppose.
I like how Mark Wahlberg questionably even plays a role here because he is just a hard-ass Boston boy who has a lot of prejudice, it seems.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like he's playing Mark Wahlberg in this movie.
Yeah, and it's great. I fucking love him.
Yeah, he's
probably my favorite
he's
character
a
in
lot.
this movie.
He's got the most character, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so initial thoughts, anyone? Who wants to start us off, I guess?
Well, that's you and I guess I'll go. I've seen this movie like a billion times. It's like one of those movies where growing up, like on cable TV, like if it was on, I never skipped it, never skipped the channel. This is before guides. There wasn't even a guide on the TV. You're just scrolling through on your remote. That's fucking wild to even
Flipping
think about.
channels.
Flipping
on
channels.
cable.
Yeah, just finding shit. But yeah, I can't even count how many times I've seen this movie. I loved it as a kid. And this was probably the first time I've seen it, I don't know, probably like 7-8 years. So definitely like in my more adult life. I guess I was excited to see how I feel now that I'm older. And yeah, this movie is just so fucking good. I love it so much. I think it's one of Scorsese's better movies. I'd say it's my third favorite behind Casino and Goodfellas, or I should say Goodfellas than Casino. Very highly regarded films. I think this is better than anything he's done recently, and easily his best. Not including Goodfellas, Casino, his best crime movie, because he's kind of gotten away with that over the past 15 years.
Goodfellas is his best crime movie, in your opinion?
Easily, yeah.
I mean, I feel like
so fucking good.
that's just like
It's a default answer.
yeah.
Boilerplate.
Yeah.
Cold take answer. Sorry.
Unless you're a Scorsese fan.
Good. But yeah, this movie is fantastic. It's so fucking funny. Just cracking up the entire time. The acting is just outstanding. Everybody pulls their weight. And it's as we've already went over, such a star-studded cast. It's outside of Leonardo DiCaprio, it's my favorite performance by these actors in their filmographies. It's like my favorite performance by Mark Wahlberg.
Damn.
Like when I think of Mark Wahlberg, I think of this movie. When I think of especially Matt Damon, like this character that Matt Damon plays, that is my Matt Damon. Like he does such a fucking good job of being kind of a cocksucker, prick, double agent, bad guy, whatever. Like I don't know, he plays the role so well, and yeah, it's just such a. I mean, it's its own. It's the typical Scorsese movie in terms of pace, editing, runtime. And the movie just flies by. It's 2.5 hours. To me, it feels like an hour. I could just keep watching it. Dialogue's fantastic. I mean, I'll just ramble in this intro. It's just so good. I love the story. It's based on a novel and I think Chinese movie. So it's kind of like a remake of of a Chinese movie, loosely based on a true story. And so I don't know. I love like Boston accents. I love just like the era, and like this movie feels so 2006. Like everything about it, like the humor,
the flip phone prevalence.
Yeah, like
Dude, so
I
many
love going
flip
back
phones.
to like that. Like you wouldn't think it's that long ago, and you think or hear 2006, and then you watch this movie, you're like, holy shit, it's so outdated in so many ways, but like in a good way. I don't know, it's very nostalgic. But yeah, this movie is amazing. I was about to say highly recommend. We're not to the end yet. But yeah, I'll start it off with a 8.6. I just raved about it, and so since I didn't give it a 10, I guess say some negatives or
No,
something.
that's good.
I don't have to.
Yeah, we'll get into
I
your
don't know.
negatives soon.
All right,
I want to
Well-
know about them.
We'll hold you accountable later.
please do. 8.6, fantastic movie.
Okay. I definitely enjoyed this one. I think maybe it was a little bit overhyped for me.
Mm.
Just because it's just like one of those movies that you always hear about, and if you say you haven't seen it, everyone's like, "Oh, you haven't seen Departed?" Departed. I'm like, "Nope, I haven't seen it." So just over time, like the bar just keeps increasing little by little. But it was definitely really solid. I agree with Zach that like very well acted. Matt Damon actually plays a character in this movie for the first time ever, and I guess the last time ever since it was early on in his career. Jack Nicholson was fucking excellent.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen him in The Shining, so I didn't have like a bunch of comparisons, but I was like, holy shit, this guy is like the real deal. So that was really awesome to watch. Leo DiCaprio was great. Mark Wahlberg was great in his bullshit, slinging. I think the story was good. The characters maybe just like I didn't feel as connected to the characters maybe as I would have liked. But the ending definitely like brought it a long way. I think I probably would have given it a little bit lower, maybe well, we'll see. I'll reveal here in a second, but would have given it a little bit lower if the ending was not the ending. But that's probably part for the course on this one. Pacing was good. I was a little bit sleepy, but I didn't fall asleep, so that's how you know.
Huge.
I'm a resident movie fall asleeper if you start it after 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll probably start this one off at a 7.5. Definitely solid, but not my favorite movie ever, or any extraordinary feat, perhaps.
Shit, what a disappointment. Okay. For me, this movie, historically, this was like one of the most surprisingly good movies that I think I've ever seen. I think I watched it like for the first time, and the only other time other than today, 3-4 years ago, perhaps. And I'd only heard about it just because it was so like culturally prevalent, and I was expecting a good time, but I was not quite expecting that much of a good time. Just because I don't really have a huge interest in conventional like crime boss dramas or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of like twists and turns this movie takes, and the amount of the layers of the onion, metaphorically, put it at like easily like a 9 out of 10 for me. And watching it back again, I just had to give it a 10.
Oh, shit.
I like that.
Dennis' 17th 10.
It's so good. Can't recommend the movie enough. I know we usually do that at the end, but it's just that standout for me that I think I can say that certifiably right here. So I'm interested to see what you guys necessarily didn't like about this movie, or what didn't, I guess, do it for you. But
Sure
yeah,
thing.
this is a 10 for me.
Okay. Very good.
Let's go ahead and jump straight into spoilers.
Okay. Spoilers. Spoil us, please.
To go right off the bat, to answer Dennis's question, I forgot to mention this in my intro, but like so much of this movie to me is like, and this goes for all of Scorsese's filmography, is like the shock value, and like shit happens. It's like there's just so many jaw drop moments where you're just like, holy shit, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
And all his movies contain that. And I think that this was like, I mean, if I actually had to count, probably like somewhere between 15 and 20th time seeing this movie.
Damn.
Like that's obviously all of that is long gone.
Mm-hmm.
So Like, I think if I just watch this movie like you did, like for the second time ever, I think my score would be much higher. So I'm trying to balance how I feel and think right now about that, or just like how I'm thinking about that.
The novelty,
the novelty, that's what I was looking for.
That's true.
So I think that's kind of affected my score, just because like I've had a good time with this movie so many times. Sorry, Dennis just hurt himself at the table.
That was fun.
But yeah, I just wanted to mention that, and then I don't know. I guess like any other sort of negatives that like, you know, watching this movie critically in a way as a member of a podcast for the first time. I think
as a member of the Smart Guy Movie Club.
Mm-hmm. Board member, actually.
I'm blanking because actually I don't really have anything to say. And I thought I was just going to be able to say it on the spot, but I really don't. There's nothing that's pointing out. It's just
what, like
just in terms of like any
things?
sort of
Negatives?
bad things. Like
Okay.
I guess the only thing I would say is, well, so Matt in the intro said that he didn't really connect with the characters that much. I did, but I guess I like I really connected with Leonardo DiCaprio's character. That was like the emotional hook for me, and like I just felt for that dude, like more than anybody else, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then another, I don't know, actually, I was gonna make that a negative, and then it's actually a positive. So I'm just gonna shut up.
So how about this? I kind of agree with you that if I watched this movie as a child a bunch and I'd seen it, you know, upper double digits, not upper digits, close to 20 times in my life, then yeah, this movie does really, I think what does it the most for me is the amount of surprise and shock value of, the story and the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what's coming at every corner is probably going to kind of soften that and boil it down a little bit.
Totally.
But it being an amount of years since I had seen this one definitely had me forget a couple of the different points and plot turns that it took. So that was always a welcome surprise for me to see again, which
That's
had
amazing.
me smiling and giggling at my desk as I watched it.
Nice. So we shouldn't even bother trying to explain this to the audience. You just got to watch it. There's too many twists and turns to say this coherently in a short period of time. But let's just jump right to like the end, shall we?
Sure.
And talk about kind of the plot twists there, with the ever so many shots to the head that we see. I guess the last one is probably the most significant, since I don't know, it kind of can be up to interpretation on Dignam and his role within the police department and or the mob. So I want to. So obviously in the last scene we see Dignam kill Sullivan, Matt Damon's character, after Matt Damon just screwed over everyone and their mother and participated in the killing of a couple cops. So what's your take on Dignam and where he stands in this whole situation?
Can I go first?
Was it a justice or like a revenge killing? Is he in the mob? Is he a cop? Interested in your thoughts.
I didn't know this was open to interpretation, so maybe this will be something learning for me. As all the times I've seen it, I think it's pretty straightforward and clear what happened. So in the movie, Leonardo DiCaprio's character Billy, all his family's dead. He doesn't really have anybody, and so the only person he has basically is a psychiatrist who he's also hooked up with on the side, and is also
has a baby with.
and also got pregnant with. And so he has nobody else. So
That was Leonardo DiCaprio's baby?
yeah, that's why when
shit.
she's leaving the room, she goes, "I thought I was the only liar." After she listens to him, because she just lied because she knew that was probably his baby.
I thought it was only because
not Sullivan's.
she had cheated on him. I didn't know it was because
Well,
okay.
Yeah,
Good
I guess
call.
it's not like directly.
It's not directly
addressed,
confirmed.
I
But
like it
also,
this way.
they talk about Matt Damon's impotence at one point, where she's like, "Do you want to talk about your
Oh yeah.
silly little pee-pee and how it didn't come out to play last night?"
True. And then he did kind of make a point to tell Alec Baldwin that, oh yeah, it's working real good.
Yeah,
that's
he went
true.
out of his
Missed
way.
that part. Yeah.
There's so many layers there. But anyways, to tie up this point, he hands her the evidence of Colin Sullivan, Matt Damon's character, of being a part of the mob, basically, and all the evidence that Leonardo DiCaprio being behind the scenes has worked towards the entire movie. And so she has that little yellow envelope, and then that yellow envelope never gets disclosed or shown again to the audience the rest of the movie. And so at the end of the movie, obviously, or towards the end, Leonardo DiCaprio's character Billy gets shot in the head as he's trying to arrest Colin Sullivan. And then at the very end of the movie, as Matt was just describing, Sullivan's coming home and the door's locked. He unlocks the door to his own apartment and Mark Wahlberg's character is standing there. So this raises a few questions. How did Mark Wahlberg unlock that door? Well, I think what's clear is that because Billy told his psychiatrist, the love interest here, that if anything ever happens to me, then you can open this. So obviously when she found out that he died, she opened it and it revealed that Colin Sullivan, for the intents purposes of what my conversation is here, is the bad guy. And so then she, I think in that folder or in the envelope, it also was like, go contact Dingham. And because he's the only guy that now Leonardo's character, Billy, can trust. And so she, off camera, reveals all the evidence to Dingham and then gives him a key to the house for him to kill Sullivan and tie up that loose end.
Damn! I had never even thought to maybe put that into perspective.
Damn, this movie just became an 11 for you.
Dude, it might have.
There's so many layers
Lord.
to everything. It's
Wait,
crazy.
so I have when the movie first ended, I was like, oh, he's part of the mob, Dingham.
Why would you think that? Or what
Because fucking everyone and their mother was on the wrong team.
There were
like,
so many
swaps.
There were
so
many extra people in the mob that we had no idea about. We thought it was just the two guys.
And then we have people that are in the mob.
There's only a couple more.
Well, that's enough to make me ask
That's still
about
4
Dingham.
times as many as we thought.
And Dingham seems like the least person, or the person you would least suspect. So, in my eyes, it's like with all these reveals, it's like it wouldn't be surprising if that was like the big reveal is that Dingham, cop extraordinaire, like hard ass, is actually part of the mob. But
It was justice.
I think what you're saying is right, and I want to read something because I was doing some digging last night, but basically kind of verifies what you're saying, or there's some theories around it. And one person says, at Z Caveman, I guess there's no ad, it's Reddit, but
Close to
that's
me.
funny too.
This is literally Zach's alternate.
Yeah. While a cool theory, I don't think it's accurate. This is talking about Dingham being the in the mob. And then so he said, while a cool theory, I don't think it's accurate. There's a color scheme in the film: red for bad, blue for good. That's why the rats, Koski and Sullivan, always wear a combination of the two. Dingham wears blue without any trace of red, which indicates that he's not a rat. Could be bullshit, but an interesting take there.
It's fun.
And then another person says, there were pictures of Costello with the FBI agent that were assigned to the task force for finding Costello. It shows the agent leaning on the driver's side window while Costello is in the driver's seat. So he reported and exchanged info directly with the agent involved in this case. It was kind of irrelevant to this point, so never mind. But yeah, I just thought while it's likely what you're saying, he's a cop and like the envelope contained that information, it is kind of interesting that it's left up to a little bit of interpretation. You have to kind of pick out those breadcrumbs to know, and kind of connect the dots on that. But why do you say that Billy or that Dingham is the only person that Billy can trust? Because I feel like, well, I take that back. I forgot they had a relationship at the beginning because at the end,
he could only trust two people the entire film because they're the only guys that knew that he was undercover and basically had his life in their hands. Right. And then Martin Sheen's character died, and so all he had left was Mark Wahlberg's character.
Yeah. Okay. This being my second time I watched it. The first time around, I was totally full Mark Wahlberg is good pilled. He was the only, like clean guy, by the book, not double crossing anyone cop on the force, besides the deceased Leo, rip. But this time around, this is the only time this thought popped into my head was after he showed up and fucking smiled at Matt Damon right before he puts a bullet in his head. Was the time that I thought, oh shit, maybe literally everybody's dirty, and maybe this is just the people remaining to run Costello's regime tying up the loose end.
That's wild. I mean, it's interesting for me, like, to hear that. Like, in all 20 times I watched it, never once for a second thought that Mark Wahlberg was potentially in the mob. Like, throughout the entire movie, he like slowly starts distrusting Colin Sullivan's character more and more. All their dialogue interactions, like he's basically like calling him out from the very first scene of the movie or early on in the movie, like that's his job. Like he's such a hard ass cop and he's trying to like break Billy's character early on. And it doesn't work because he's a fucking hard ass.
He's a G.
He's a G.
Yeah.
And then Sullivan's character, like he keeps calling him like pretty boy, like he knows that like he rose to the top so quickly, like
smelled the bullshit.
yeah, like thank you. He just smells all the bullshit all the time, and at the end he's like smirking, like it just feels so good for him to like for justice to take place. Like his best friend Martin Sheen's character, I'm blanking on his name, he was in charge. Queenan died, and like that broke Dingham, and he had to like take a leave, whatever, and like I don't know. That's why like I just love the ending so much.
Yeah,
because like
I'm still of the opinion and the still team Mark Wahlberg's the good guy,
Yeah.
and we finally
He's the
get
only-
some form of retribution at the end.
yeah.
Because goddamn, I was not expecting Leo to get domed as soon as he stepped out of the elevator.
That is,
Dude,
like, I think all time like the most shocking moment in film for me.
It's a good one, but it's also like so obvious that could happen because he's just like sitting there before he like had Damon at gunpoint, and then he just like doesn't give a fuck, and then the elevator door opens. Like that guy could just run down the stairs quicker than the fucking elevator.
Yeah, I
But,
guess
like,
maybe,
But it's just like a stupid like movie like whatever.
the bad guy's obviously behind you, kind of thing.
Right. But it's still shocking. I just thought that was like
I had
stupid.
no idea that was coming because everything up until that point was so dramatic, and this was finally a moment of holy shit, he got him. Because in the elevator on the ride down, Matt Damon finally gives up his facade that he's actually a good, clean cop and says, "Just fucking kill me." Like even he accepts that it's over. So, and this being happening like what 2 hours and 20 minutes into the 2 hour 35 runtime, you're like, oh my god, okay, it's wrapped up, it's done, the bow's on it, and then as the elevator door opens, his head just explodes. Fuck.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking crazy.
And I love that aspect. Like it's prevalent as a theme in like all of Scorsese's films, and that's like there's not such thing as a good guy, bad guy. And he even makes or whoever wrote the script, like in terms of the dialogue, Jack Nicholson in the very opening monologue literally says something right to that theme, and he's like, I think it was like something about like cops or bad guys,
cops or robbers.
Like, what is the difference when a gun's pointed to your head? Like, there is no difference. And like, I just love that about all of Scorsese's crime films, where it's like there's not such thing as a good guy, bad guy. It's just like everybody has their like selfish traits, like as a character, like what drives them, whether it's like women, money, drugs, or just wanting to have power. Like it doesn't matter. Like there's not such thing as a good guy or bad guy. It's just you're just a human that makes mistakes. And like when you play this game of like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, crime, like you will pay the price at some point. Like there's no happy happy ending, I guess. Yeah. There's no fairy tale ending. And so I just love that, like, yeah, when you dance with the devil, like you pay the price. And in all of the movies, that's how it is. And so like Leonardo DiCaprio, I mean, he made too many mistakes. You can't be undercover for that long with the biggest crime boss in the area and expect to get out on top. So I love those aspects.
Bring up about the address with like the 314
Yep.
or 314 versus 344. I don't know if you guys caught that when he said it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's not right.
yeah, I didn't think that there was like a reason for that. Did you guys suspect something there, or it was only when it was revealed that you were like,
didn't that guy that gave Leo the address, didn't he say, I gave you the wrong address? Wasn't that like a test to see if he would show up?
No, he accidentally then realized after the fact that he gave him the wrong address.
Okay, yeah.
So he accidentally gave him the wrong address, and then when he thought about it afterwards, he's like, wait, I gave you the wrong address and you still were there. That's how like it got revealed.
yeah. So
What was
it's
the
like,
question here?
just if you saw something at play there beforehand, like if you thought that there was going to be some reveal with that 314,
So much
after
is-
the fact, or you just thought it was just like you
I
just
wouldn't
glazed over it
necessarily. Yes, like so much
yeah.
is happening at the time. You're like, oh wait, that's interesting, and then you're like pushed to the next scene.
I
Yeah.
did notice, like, watching it back again, or both times I've seen the movie, I did realize that, like, wait, we just saw that they were at 344, and that was related to two people. Why did he all of a sudden say 314?
Yeah, and then we find out that that guy's obviously a Fed,
That guy was a Fed?
or that guy was a cop. That's what he said when he was laying there. Did he not? Am I tripping?
No, well, he didn't say that. What he said
He's
was,
like, why didn't I snitch?
Why didn't I snitch?
on
Why do you think I didn't snitch? And then he died
Yeah.
before he could explain.
Yeah, but like
Oh.
implying that
So you
he's a
can-
cop also, and that's what, like was also.
Tell me why I didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
When I watched it both times, I was under the impression he didn't say nothing just because he didn't want to believe it so bad, kind of furthering the notion of how close and how good Billy was, or Leonardo DiCaprio was, at getting in with the people there and playing the role of a mob henchman so well.
Did you also took it as he's a cop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I like that idea more because it's like the whole movie. It's like who's the single rat on each side, when in reality there were multiple rats and nobody even knew. It's just funny.
Yeah.
Like everybody's a fucking rat basically. And, like,
Yeah,
that's
and
just
then,
how
like,
it is.
And then when it came out, like afterwards, that it was like on the news that this guy's identified as the cop. Like the cops come out and say that he was the cop.
That's
it's like
another
a smart
potential
play by
rat.
the feds to,
or
not the feds in this case because they're kind of a separate entity, but by the state police to say
big police department
to throw them off the scent and make them think that there's no more cop in their ranks when that motherfucker's still there.
Another thing that just reminded me of like such a sick aspect of the movie is that like, because from the very beginning, it's like the movie in terms of like the editing is just like cutting back and forth and like showing the rise of Sullivan and Costigan's characters, and like you're led to believe the entire movie that like Jack Nicholson like treated Sullivan like a son and brought him up, and then at the end of the movie you realize that like he was just another pawn in his scheme, and then like Sullivan, like it meant something to him and it like literally cost him his life, whereas with Nicholson he literally was just like another kid. Like on the side, he's probably like raising all these kids. Not
I mean, they shows him like with 3 or 4 kids at the beginning scene with.
Like they mean nothing to him on an emotional level. Like they're just like
he's farming them literally.
Yeah. And then, but on the other side, they think that like he's like their father figure and it means something. It's just funny. Like I think it's realistic as fuck. That's how that shit works.
The kind of transition or the origin story of Matt Damon's character, where he starts as a good by the book, good in school kid who just doesn't have parents. He's just raised by his grandmother, and gets taken under the wing by the crime boss. And kind of I'm taken advantage of and bred to be his pawn. I really like that aspect too, how at the end scene when Nicholson gets killed, it's because Matt Damon finally realizes that like he doesn't give a fuck about like having a son or no emotional ties to his tools.
Right.
And then I feel like, and then like 'cause I guess this was the first time in the movie or first watch that I had that like, because like growing up as a kid, I'm like, oh, Sullivan's a bad guy. I don't like him. But then this movie, I actually felt way more emotionally tied to Matt Damon's character, Sullivan, just because like it hit me that like he didn't have a choice in this. Like he literally didn't have parents. Like just like the point you just made, raised by this crime boss, and like it's all he knows. And then like slowly throughout the movie, there's like slight scenes. It's great acting by Matt Damon of just like facial expressions of him like, oh shit, like I'm too far gone, and like he's questioning whether he's doing the right thing. I guess I never really caught that in some other viewings. And I thought that was like very interesting. And I just like feel for him. Like, damn, bro, like, sorry, but you done fucked up too much now. It's over. Poor guys.
Damn.
Leo had my heart in this movie so hard. I mean, I kind of gave a fuck about Matt Damon's character, but he was always like the villain and I was always rooting against him, of course, as I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
And Leo I was rooting for, obviously. Dude, what a fucking down bad, like, really just getting shit on the entire movie by both sides.
Yeah.
This movie, I think, really did a great job of instilling, like, the stress and anxiety that his character had, just in all the scenes where he's one-on-one with Costello, Jack Nicholson's character, and the amount of fear that guy's just face instills in you, his dirty, grimy, disgusting scowl just wigs me out. And so there's a lot of times where I thought, oh shit, he's gonna fucking kill him, and he knows who's who and everything. Yeah, I would have probably begged a psychiatrist for an oxy prescription as well.
Poor guy's addicted now. But yeah, and then like anytime I think about it, like I want to make a point. I'm like, there's just so many layers within layers of like shit going on. But like another parallel that I love so much is just like the love interest. So the psychiatrist dates basically, I mean, in some shape or form, both Sullivan and Costigan, and like I don't know, it's just like so cool, like seeing like even from her point of view, like how they're complete opposites of people. Like it's kind of a cute little example, but when she moves into Sullivan's house, like she's like, she has all her boxes because she's moving in, and she's like bringing out her like personal items. She has like a picture for her as a kid, and then Sullivan like makes a joke about it and is like, no, like I'm not putting this out, like we're gonna hide this. And he says that as a joke, but he's also being serious. It shows that like he doesn't want like all these personal items out about in like his space. And then later on in the movie, before she's officially moved out of her lease or like got out of her lease, Costigan stops by her house, and that's when they fuck. But when he walks in, he like just randomly sees that poster on the ground, and he picks it up and hangs it up on the wall.
Yeah.
Just showing that he's like the exact opposite. Like I don't know.
He appreciates her, her past and who she is as a person. He sees her, and
I don't know. And there's a lot of different other examples like that of like their relationship in the movie. But I don't know. It's cool. I love the love interest aspects of this too.
Yeah, damn. Is Scorsese one of those people that every single line is like,
yeah,
you gotta be thinking about?
He ties everything back always.
Yeah, I would say probably not but he is a master crafter. Because even the exposition in this movie, where it's like a 2-minute scene of two characters explaining something to each other just so the audience knows what's going on, are still sprinkled with hilarious dialogue and little one-liners that make you really feel like you're in South Boston, and you know how these
he's so
like
good
you're one of the guys on the force. I'm thinking in particular on the driving range when Alec Baldwin's explaining to Matt Damon why they need to run all the numbers for everybody in their crew, see who's who and who might be the mole and everything, why he needs to investigate his own unit. Just the shit about how, you get married, good. Getting married's good. Makes people know you're not a homo. Makes people know, people can be around this motherfucker for more than 2 hours.
Well, that's why Scorsese is like so amazing to me, because it's like the entertainment value I get out of his films is it all just comes down to the dialogue. It's all it is. It's not the story. Like, yeah, that helps, and it's not like the like what it's about. Like, I don't necessarily like. I can't think of other like mob movies I care about. Like The Godfather, like it's all right. Like it's not like my cup of tea. It's just not. But I'm obsessed with like Goodfellas. Like if we reviewed Goodfellas, I'd probably give it a 10 out of 10. And like, but I don't really care about that time period that much. It's just like it is so fucking engrossing how entertaining it is. Just hearing people talk. Like I don't know of another director that does that. Like I don't know how he does it either. Like if I had to sit there and think about it.
Quentin?
Quentin is the same way actually. Yeah. They're both very similar in that aspect, but it's just like I could just watch these characters interact with each other for like a 10 hours straight. It feels so real yet so funny and like emotional. Like I don't know, it just works.
We're there right now.
That's a good point though, because like I'm thinking about this movie and comparing it to Pulp Fiction, just in the sense of like the different elements that are contributing and bringing up the score or like overall critical reception of the movie. And Quentin has really good dialogue, but he also uses like a lot of set pieces and like costume design and whatever to
transport you to that era.
Right. But like this is literally just like dudes talking in rooms, basically. But to your point, still able to convey like powerful messaging and an interesting story and interesting characters, and you don't feel like claustrophobic or bored. Yeah. Even though you're kind of getting more or less the same scenes over and over again, just like the background's slightly changed.
And at the end of the day, like Wolf of Wall Street, another Scorsese movie, it's the same exact thing, but like you can't like Wolf of Wall Street's so overdone, and like every 12-year-old going through puberty is like, that's the best movie ever made, and it's like a joke. But at the end of the day, like that movie is still fucking amazing for the same reasons that we just said, not because there's blowjobs and cocaine every other scene. Like that's just the dressing but the actual substances, somehow the dialogue is just so good that I could just watch it forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, some surprisingly good Zach analyses to this episode.
Surprising.
I love it. I applaud.
This is we need a Zach minutes talk. Sometimes he's taking a back seat, but sometimes, like right now,
if I love the movie, I'll talk. Or if I either have to love the movie or hate it, no between.
Yeah,
true.
So if I can get shit on, what's that movie I hate?
Crimes of the Future.
Crimes of the Future. Then yeah, I'll be.
Does he remember what he hates?
Yeah.
Someone else remember that for me.
If it's below a 6 for him,
I'll go off.
Fuck. This movie is like the total package for me. Like you were saying, particularly dialogue and the characters drive it for you. Plot line and how complex of a web of a deception it is just leaves my super intelligent mystery solving brain like literally wanting more. I'm like a rat with cheese. I need more cheese. And this movie is a block of cheddar.
And there's a lot of rats.
There's a lot of rats.
So many rats. I'm with my brothers here.
Thoughts on the last... Dude, why is there always random hairs on this mic going up my nose?
It's your beard.
That's officially not. It's a
That is a lady's hair.
come again. What were we talking about?
I love cheese.
Oh yeah, the final scene. Where the rat is on the railing, and then is that what's that behind it?
The Capitol
The
building.
Capitol building.
Okay, yeah.
Where Sullivan wants to work. That's his dream.
So like, thoughts on that? Everyone like blows their load over that scene. I think it's kind of corny because it's just like a rat. Like,
it's not that deep.
Yeah, it's like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay.
It's just a little token of like, hey, this movie is about rats.
It's cute. It's cute. It's not anything to go write a blog about.
Yeah, it's like the end of a Disney movie.
You'd be surprised if people watch it. Just want to make sure we're on the same page there. Do you have any trivia about this, Dennis?
Not too much trivia. I probably could have looked into that more, but I spent more time just enjoying driving home yesterday.
Surviving.
Yeah. But I really, really enjoy another thing, how they kind of showcase the intelligence of pretty much everybody involved here. Notably so, what stood out to me is how they showed how Matt Damon's character and his police proficiency, even though he plays for the bad team, how he figures out how to find Queenan's actual mole, how he decides to pursue and find Leo's identity, because he remembers what Queenan said to him. He says, if you follow Costello, you'll find his mole. And he applies that logic to finding Queenan's mole for the mob.
Brilliant.
And that leads to him pretty much finding the mole. Unfortunately, he just wasn't fast enough, and Leo's able to get away. Everything about this movie just kind of really reinforces. I think this might be probably the best like cat and mouse Who's Who movie of all time.
I agree with that.
Where there's a bunch of shuffling players and like having everybody's wearing a different hat to the other team and everything.
Everybody has to be so smart, but like you said, like Sullivan's character, like I want to be him. Like he's just like badass. He's like,
you want to be Sullivan?
No, you want to be
that guy sucks.
No, be him in terms, not like him being a bad guy, but like be him in terms of like how does like of a badass job. He is intellectually. Like he's so good at his fucking job. Like I don't know, like it reminds me of like James Bond in a scene, or like Jason Bourne, which is also Matt Damon. Actually, I think Jason Bourne literally does this in a movie where like his hand's in his pocket and he's just texting, hiding in his pocket. Like that's so fucking hard to do.
He knows all of the numbers that he needs to dial. He knows which click he needs to make to get to the phone number screen so he can type it in, and then
just little things like that.
Press down twice to get to the message, compose message.
If that actually happened in a Bourne movie, that was definitely a nod to this movie. It had to be, or whichever.
I think
they
came out
first.
at the same time.
I think
no way.
The first two Bournes came out early 2000s. Bourne 3, the last one was 07. So.
Well, whichever one had it.
I love that you know that.
I like Bourne movies. Oh, I like the third one, Ultimatum. The other two are mid.
Like you said, you want to be Sullivan.
They're so fucking good at their jobs.
This movie did a great job of making me want to be an undercover police officer for a statey in the Boston Police. Because damn, they make having this job seem so cool and so impressive, and never a dull moment. Even though I know I would probably kill myself after week one just because of how insanely stressful and complicated it would be.
Yeah, how many years was he? I guess we don't really ever know the true number, but like literally have to throw out your whole identity and just...
He was undercover
to go to jail
for a whole year.
Yeah.
I think he was serving the mob for a whole year, and up until that point, I think he had to get kicked out of the academy, and then he had to go to prison or jail or whatever. Oh, fucking A, man.
Yeah, crazy as shit. All right. Well, I guess you didn't dislike literally anything about this movie.
It's a 10.
Honestly, might not have.
And you
licensed music.
Kind of touched on a couple things at the beginning, but actually,
I technically didn't touch on anything. It's just because like I don't know how to rate it, just because like we went over, there's a lot of shock value to it and stuff, and I've just seen this movie so many times.
Matt, can you touch on a couple of the reasons why it was a bit of a letdown?
I guess it was just like maybe not hyper entertaining for me. I guess like I wasn't really. I'm a big like character or creating a connection with the character, and I feel like I didn't really get that as much this time. Yeah, that we like saw their emotional sides with the relationship and stuff, but like it was just like the Boston facade, like the we don't take ourselves, or like we are like too much of hard asses, and like Leo. One of the most vulnerable scenes in the movie, I feel like, is when Leo is talking to Madeline, trying to get the Valium prescription,
Yeah.
and he's like unloading on her and all that, but he's like being a hard ass, so it's not coming across as like emotional. To me, it's coming across as like he's trying to like cover up his emotions, and I feel like when the characters are more vulnerable, that's when I can develop a relationship with them or develop a connection to them and care about like what they're going through. Not that I didn't care, but it wasn't like when he got shot at the end, I was definitely surprised. I wasn't like, no, I don't know. It was just like, I just think it maybe is not like my type of movie. Like I think Goodfellas is really good, but I'm not like jerking off Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Like I would not give that movie a 10.
Damn.
But that's just personal. That's just like personal preference. Scorsese's good. Killers of the Flower Moon, a lot of people love that movie. I thought it was like
I haven't even seen it.
okay. I mean, it was not. It was good, but it wasn't like holy shit, you know. So I guess maybe it's just not my cup of tea primarily.
Genre discrepancy.
Perhaps.
Damn.
Mob discrepancy.
That's fair. Fuck.
Can't relate to mobsters for some reason.
Yeah.
For some reason.
You're a big fan of movies in which you can identify with the characters in some way.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Pain.
I can't think of any fucking...
And you don't want to even cosplay as a statey or an undercover plainclothes officer or anything like that?
I mean, I don't know. It's like cool, but it's also just I don't know.
Damn.
I don't really have much more to say about why I didn't like it. I just think it was.
Dennis going to keep drilling you for the next
It's not
30
even that I
minutes.
didn't like it. That's the thing. You give it a 7.5.
Just
like-
didn't love it.
That's a 3.75.
Damn. This is a movie like in my head, it's hard to process somebody not loving it the same way I do. And there's few movies that I'm like that for. Some movies I absolutely adore, and I'm like, no, I totally get it.
This has got like a 4.1 or something on Letterboxd, right? 4.3.
Yeah, translates to 8.2.
It's the exact opposite of Poor Things.
8.6.
I don't understand how somebody could fucking love that movie. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Poor Things.
Yeah.
It was adorable in a lot of ways.
It's the opposite.
You're also not a woman, so I think women would definitely like the movie more than men in general.
Not this man. I like it more than women.
True.
Props.
All right. Do we have final thoughts on this, or what are you going to
Oh
say?
shit, are we there?
No, I don't know. I'm just asking you.
We're already at the hour mark.
Geez Louise. Yeah, I guess we can give final thoughts. I have a...
Did you have something to say?
No, I can wrap it up in final thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Well-
some more points of things to love.
Okay. I guess I'll go first, just since I was kind of describing my thoughts. Really well acted. I really love Jack Nicholson. He's definitely my favorite in this. Great performances by actors that were, and cool to see them in their younger years. Like Leo, this is probably the youngest I've seen him in a movie. Matt Damon probably as well. It was definitely interesting, well done, but perhaps just not my cup of tea. Not really anything in particular to rail on it about. I mean, I love the twists. I love when a movie like shows its junk and then then it like opens its junk and shows more junk somehow.
Yeah.
Like you just like can't. You're like, oh, how can it get crazier than this? Or like you just don't even expect that second twist a lot of times. Like usually it's just like one big thing and it's like, and then Jack Nicholson died. And there were still 24 minutes left. I'm like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Not that was like a big twist or anything, but yeah. So it did a good job in that department. I definitely would not have given it as high as I did if it weren't for all the shenanigans at the end. But yeah, just couldn't connect to it like I would have liked to. So, but still solid. Still keep it at a 7.5.
Nice. Can you pull up my score sheet while I speak?
Absolutely.
And while we do that, this movie literally does show junk at one point.
You see junk?
Yeah,
It was a
Jack
dildo.
Nicholson whips. I think that was supposed to be his actual.
No,
meat.
it was.
It was
not.
black.
It was black.
Yeah.
Why would he bring a fake dildo?
he's
That was
fucking
that was
with
a
him.
part of the joke. Yeah. That was
I like
hilarious.
it better when it's his actual.
Oh my god.
We didn't even see Madeline in the nude, so we definitely wouldn't see her.
There was a little. I was focused. You could see some of her tits under the lingerie.
He paused it.
I paused
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Zoom in and enhance, please.
I love her. She's so hot in this movie. It's ridiculous. And that's why it's a 10. Yeah, this movie is amazing. I love it. I love the Scorsese genre, if we can call it that.
Mob genre.
Not even mob genre,
Yeah,
just
this has like the flash and sex appeal, like Wolf of Wall Street did in a lot of ways.
Mm.
for mid 2000s Boston. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
true.
AKA
I like this
anything that's
better.
not slimy.
Yeah, I just love the dialogue, the way he writes the characters. It's just something addicting about it. Like, again, I could just watch movies like this just for hours on hours because you feel so, in my opinion, connected to the characters, and so it's just so entertaining. I don't know, something about it. So yeah, characters are great. The Boston accents are funny. I mean, there's so much we didn't talk about it really, but the humor in this, a lot of it's outdated. Probably get canceled for even mentioning some of the stuff in this movie, but I still think it's out of this world hilarious. Like legitimately laughing out loud for like significant parts of the movie. Damn, yeah, just the story is so good. Like Dennis said, it's like such a great cat and mouse type of movie where so many twists and turns. Probably one of the best at doing that. There's the shock value, the typical violence and like gore that you get out of a lot of Scorsese movies. It has it all. So, and the last really truly outstanding Scorsese movie to me. So yeah, love this movie. I guess I'll give it
It's a breaching 9, calling it.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's moving up from 8.6. I'll give it a 8.9. Tie it with Once Upon a Time.
So I wasn't right. You fucking liar.
What?
Bruh.
You said I was approaching a 9.
I said breaching.
Oh, breaching. Yeah, I'll give it 8.9. Such a good fucking movie. In terms of recommendations, I mean, if you like Scorsese at all, you would love this. Or honestly, any of these actors, because like I said early on, all these A-list actors, like this is them in their literal prime and like at their absolute best. So yeah, great movie. Dennis, give us your thoughts on the 10 out of 10.
Yeah, tacking on what you said, scarce is the moment in which A-list actors all do a great job, and I think this movie is that. So, I gotta leave it at a 10. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody at this point. It's got the total package, like I said, brilliant acting, particularly from Leo. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of him as an actor all the time, but this movie and Wolf of Wall Street, I think I'm really a big fan of his performance in. Say what you will about his taste in women, but this movie is tip top for him. It's got twists and turns. It's got cool, funny dialogue. It's got emotional or adrenaline pumping tension. A little bit of a love story or romantic interest that I don't think is unnecessary or takes away from it. If anything, it adds a little dessert slice of cake into the dessert bar that is this movie. So yeah, it's a 10. One of my favorites. I don't know if it's like top 5 material for sure. Perhaps it is, but I love it so much. And I'm looking forward to 2029 when I watch this movie again and have all the same emotions and thoughts that I did tonight.
Nice.
Very good.
Highly recommend to anybody.
Very well.
Oh,
Yeah.
and this gets the rare stamp of approval of 2+ hour movie from me.
Oh yeah, I'm glad we pointed that
Breach
out.
is 2.5.
2.5.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I also recommend. I feel like I always forget.
Yeah.
Definitely worth watching.
Yeah. Maybe the only time I felt 2.5 hours not go the distance like that.
Well, not the only time. You know what's funny is most of your 10s that I'm looking at right now
Shut
are
up.
all
Don't bring
approaching
that up.
the 2.5 hour mark. So actually, he loves 2.5 movies.
Yeah. Right.
2.5 hours.
I mean, longer movies definitely have potentially have higher potential
Exactly. Yeah. Like
because you can get deeper and like have a more intricate story. And
there's a reason when I see a runtime, it's less than like 130 minutes. I'm like immediately disappointed. Like I don't just pull that out of my ass. Like that's an actual thing.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna do a little swap of order today, not in the pick, but in what we're talking about. We didn't talk about the weekly movie rundown.
Oh, yeah.
Any media that anyone has watched over the past week.
That's my favorite part of the podcast too.
I know.
Why don't you ever catch us when we don't do it?
I literally thought about it today beforehand, and then
Then it got away from you.
I got away from me. I have not watched any movies, but I'm rewatching House of the Dragon, and I'm almost done with the season in prep for season 2 coming out this summer. I'm very excited, and it's as amazing as
Are
it
you
was the
watching
first
with
time
Ashlyn?
around. Yeah,
For the
her first time. Yeah,
Nice.
and then we're gonna do Game of Thrones after. Also, her first time.
Shit. That's
I'm taking her through.
Damn, you had her watch that first? Is that what the internet said?
It's what I said. I don't know what's right or wrong, but I
Anything
mean,
you
in
do
terms
wrong.
of the time frame, obviously this is first. So
I guess that's good because Well,
And I think Game of Thrones is better. So like, which is crazy because House of the Dragon I would give like a 9.5 out of 10. The first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones I'd give a 10 out of 10. So
yeah, that's fair. Danny boy.
Too busy this week.
Yeah.
4 of us, including producer Zoe, had a fun romp in the mountains, so that took a good part of the leisure time of the week out. But yeah, no, very happy to have seen Departed again.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and I watched the second episode of The Curse. That's it.
Oh, nice. I watched the first episode of The Bear today. So excited to see how that goes. Too early to, I mean, I can see what it's about, but too early to have a personal take on it. And then I watched American Fiction in the theater with Jeffrey Wright.
Yep.
Oh, he sat with you?
Yeah.
Damn, what an honor.
IPH really has got the stars coming through there. It was really good. Definitely a solid comedy movie, and has like a lot of good emotional tie-in and like social tie-in. Obviously, its whole premise is like making fun of white people who are like leaning into black culture, like supporting quote unquote black culture just for the sake of doing so. So it's kind of satirical in that way, but it's funny. Would recommend. In terms of the next movie that we're watching, I promise I'm going to get towards this democracy here soon enough. But when
Not
we're
today.
when we're in award season,
We just did an award movie.
brother,
You're
I'm the only one that
obsessed.
chooses awards movies around here, and we're a movie podcast, so I got to carry the weight of 33%. We're watching.
This could go so bad.
I know. I'm nervous.
It's going to go so bad. We were watching the Taylor Swift concert movie.
Eras tour.
No. We're watching the movie that won Best International Feature at the Golden Globes. Do you guys know? Dude, this is...
We don't like
It's already-
awards. You know this.
You
It's
have to
getting
at
worse.
least know...
You know we don't like awards.
You have to at least know the movies that are nominated.
I know.
You-
I know.
you're on-
I know Oppenheimer won Best Picture as it deserved. That's what. That's all
You're
that matters.
on a
Rip
movie
headphones
podcast.
users.
What did you say?
I said rip headphones users.
Oh, yeah,
Zach's
yeah.
uproar. Do you know any more about what the movie is? Because I'm still have no idea.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I hate awards
Yeah, meaningless.
Then why do you care that Oppenheimer won?
because I'm biased. Because I
You hate.
think
You gotta hate them all
Oppenheimer's
around.
amazing.
You can't only like them when your people win. We're watching Anatomy of a Fall, which is a mystery / thriller movie.
That's good.
Drama.
Throw it up on the
Yeah,
screen.
throw it up for
Jamie.
us. We don't.
Yeah,
Jamie.
Since you
We
suckers
don't know what this is.
Anatomy of a Fall. This is the first time I've ever heard of it.
That is kind of cringe.
Something of a call girl.
A woman is suspected of her husband's murder, and their blind son faces a moral dilemma as the sole witness.
Okay, that sounds intriguing.
The
I
blind son is a witness, eh? I forward it.
like murder mysteries.
I feel like that's a fucking oxymoron.
Yeah, it's funny.
You can't.
That's
you
on
literally
purpose.
cannot witness anything.
That's on purpose. I like it.
No, well, yeah,
This should be
obviously,
interesting.
Reminds me of Gone Girl in a weird way.
Oh, yeah, because girl can't be gone.
Huh?
No.
And the poster looks like Fargo.
Okay, who's it star?
Probably no one that you know. Sandra Hewler.
Hewler. Dennis barely knows her.
I don't know these people. so.
Fucking bomb.
Yeah, it's got a lot of praise, obviously. So
Okay.
4
hopefully it'll be
P2.
good.
What led you to this?
I've been on my list for a while, but when it got nominated, I was like, all right, we're in.
Did it win?
It won Best International Picture,
Oh, nice.
but it was nominated against Oppenheimer
Okay.
in Best
For Best
Picture
Picture.
Drama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
Well, I'm excited based on the synopsis.
And look, then the score distribution, please note, worth noting,
Literally not worth noting.
perhaps.
I think it's worth noting.
All right. That'll do it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one instead of, what was the last one that you watched? Oh, yeah, Poor Things. You guys like that one, so
I like that
go
one.
fuck yourself.
Go watch The Departed.
It wasn't
if you
good because it
haven't
won awards, though.
It won awards because it's good. All right. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Letterboxd. Check us out on socials. Leave us some love, comment, subscribe, like, tell your mother, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, cack seconds.
already. Adios.